Hi, my name is Sotonye.
And my name is Oluchi.
And welcome to the CX Playbook. This podcast is for customer service enthusiasts
and businesses looking to improve their customer service. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Thank you for joining us. Hi guys, welcome to the CX Playbook. My name is Sotonye.
And my name is Oluchi. Thanks for joining us again this week. How's your week been?
It's been all right. Same old. Yours?
We're alive at this point in time.
Thank God for life.
That's all we can do. And we're here to discuss another interesting customer experience topic.
Yeah, so I think what I want us to discuss today is something that customers absolutely hate. But you see those Instagram business people, they just refuse to stop doing it. No refund, no exchange. Red X.
I need to exit like this. You now put XXX. XXX.
I don't get it because, you can say you don't have a refund or exchange policy, but why does it have to be in
such dramatic terms?
And with the red X's.
Multiple exclamation points as well.
Yes, that's true.
In my classes, I like to crack a joke that I see those signs as like a beware of dog. That's how I see it.
Pretty
because
much.
I personally am not a fan of dogs. I had severe dog bites when I was a child, so the trauma lives with me every day. So once I come to ask, do you have dog? Once you say no, so that's how I see such people. Once you say XXX, I just see it as beware of dog, and I don't even bother.
Yeah, because I feel like that's the number one sign that you're probably a scam. So I can't understand. And I feel like I've done this poll so many times, and customers always say the same thing. Like, I wouldn't buy from a business that, does that.
Has that sign.
But then the business owners just refuse to stop.
They don't care. It's not important to them. And I think that's the reason why we're talking about it today.
Yeah.
Why is it that businesses do not feel like a refund policy applies to them? Why is it so important for a refund policy to exist? Maybe you can even start by, okay, what's even a refund policy? And then why is it so important that they exist?
Yeah, so, I'll say a refund policy is basically terms that state how, when, and why you would
get a
receive a product you already sold.
Yes.
And give the person their money back or give them something else in return.
Exactly.
Yeah, so as to why it's important, I have like a full list, but I'll just, I just remember something. So there's a Nigerian clothing brand, right? Back in, I guess, 2020 when we were all stuck indoors and, didn't know if we were going to live to see the next day or not.
Good times.
So, then that was amazing to see because online shopping started gaining traction, in one way or another, whether you were doing it on WhatsApp, on a website, whatever.
Yeah.
So I came across this brand and they had a website, which I thought was amazing. And I'm looking at these clothes. I'm like, they're so beautiful. But, I'm the kind of person, I'm like, well, I haven't tried the clothes before. I don't know what the sizing is going to be like, the fit, the quality and all that. And I don't want to be stuck with clothes that I can't wear.
Exactly. Very cute.
So I don't know how, but I guess they were probably very intentional because I stumbled on the fact that they had a refund policy.
Interesting.
And boom, that was it for me.
For a ready-to-wear brand in Nigeria.
Yes. And I literally placed like this huge order and the clothes came and shocker, they weren't my size.
As you probably...
So I'm like, well, let's test out this refund policy.
For a big order.
So I called them and they're just like, just you can send it back, you can pop into the store, whatever. I'm like, really?
Whisper the name of this brand
later I will.
in private to me.
And at the point where I'm in the store, I'm still like, no, surely they're going to tell me like, no,
they're going to find a way to finagle their way out.
And these people took the clothes and gave me my money. And I'm like, for real?
Shock you.
Shocker. Yeah. But needless to say, I returned the clothes, but it's been 3 years now.
And you're still a customer.
I'm a loyal customer. I've converted everyone in my circle, my mom, my friends. Like, if you know me, you probably wear that brand. Right? And the truth is, they do have a refund policy. Do I still order and the clothes don't fit sometimes? Yes. Well, guess what? Do I return them? No. Loyalist.
Look at that.
Yeah, so
Look at that.
I know that,
Another angle.
It's good quality, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it makes for a great gift. I just gift it to someone whose size it is, or I just actually take the time out to fix it and,
And then maybe just ask the tailor to
ask my
hold
tailor
it
to
here, hold
just,
it there.
yeah.
But in terms of gifting, remind me to tell you my size so that next time you buy something that's not quite working, you can send it my way. So yeah.
Awesome,
That's actually a
awesome.
really, really good angle about the fact that you become so loyal at a point that you don't even go through the
Yeah.
hassle.
Yes. And I told that story to say, a refund policy is important because one, it convinces people to even try your brand.
Try the first place.
Right? Because they feel
Yeah.
like, okay, what's there to lose? If I buy, I don't like it, I can return it.
The
right?
comfort level that it
Yeah.
it
So there's
gives.
this level of trust as well and
Mhm.
confidence. And,
Mhm.
second, to be honest, I feel like having a refund policy means that you have fewer complaints.
True.
Because think about it, okay, I bought something, it's not my size. That could be a complaint. It didn't fit right, that could be a complaint. The stitching or the lining was
It's
off,
not.
that
So
could be a complaint. But I can just bring it back to you. And when you ask me why you're returning, I'll say, oh, because I
Because
didn't
this
like the way
happened.
the lining was looking so cheap and all that. Guess what?
You can
There's
fix
no
it.
conflict.
No.
And then you have feedback that you can actually use to improve.
On all the other lines of what
Exactly.
you're selling. Yeah, makes sense.
And
That
if
makes
people
sense.
are returning, a particular product over and over again, then
It's
you know that
feedback.
there's actually, something you need to work on in that regard. So I think there are more benefits of having the refund policy than not having it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can understand
Why
that as a Nigerian small business,
it will be difficult.
it would be difficult.
Yeah, because I was going to throw that back to you. I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate here and say it's not the most fun thing to have money get into your account and then remove it again. Let's be honest. You understand? Especially in these hard times. It's going to be very
Yes.
difficult for an SME that is selling stuff and maybe making a break even of say 3,000, 4,000 naira for even like a high priced item to take that money and return it. But you kind of answered the question in terms of the fact that there are long-term benefits to it.
Yeah, but
Yes.
in as much as that's the case, Nigeria is happening to everyone. So what I would want to ask you is, do you think it's realistic, realistically speaking? Forget the, the principles of customer experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it realistic for Nigerian small businesses to actually have and execute, a refund policy?
Realistic, yes. Easy, no. Because, I mean, is it realistic? You just explained that a business is doing it. And if a business is doing it, then every other business can. It just can't look the same for everyone. You have to consider, what am I selling? What are people returning?
Yeah.
What is the margin of time or margin of error that is allowed for the product that I'm selling? For instance, a food business might have a bit of a challenge. No, really. Let's talk about it. Because, I mean, with a food business, you might ask, okay, how do I create a refund policy for food business? Will I say, okay, after 3 to 4 market days return, it's not going to work. Food is gone. You understand?
Yeah.
So it can't look, is it realistic? Yes. For every type of business, as far as I'm concerned, there's no business that cannot institute a return policy if there's a problem. Because you can't tell me that because you're running a food business and you bring my food and there's a roach on top of my jollof rice, and I can't tell you that, no, it's a lie, you will give me my money back.
So,
yeah.
I have actually, 2 stories.
Okay, sure.
So 2 types of food businesses. One, ordering fresh food stuff, right? Fruits, veggies and stuff. So I've ordered, I think one of the things I ordered was a pineapple and I cut it open.
And it was gone.
And it was bad. And all I did was send a picture and they sent me another one. So in that case, I guess that's what a refund policy would look like for a food business.
I feel like I need to say this. She stays in Abuja. Those businesses do better.
No, actually,
the fact that they returned that to you.
Actually, that was a Lagos business.
It was a Lagos business.
Yes,
okay, I'm so sorry. I take it back. Lagos business.
So that was while I still lived in Lagos.
Oh, when you lived in Lagos.
And then the second one, this is an Abuja business. It was my first order. I ordered food, so food packs, like lunch. And I ordered quite a few. And in one particular one, there was something wrong. Yeah, there was something in the food.
Something off.
Yes. And as usual, I just sent a picture. And I think, so I sent a picture, but I didn't need all the food packs. So I kind of sent a picture to say, hey, there's something wrong with one of them. And I sort of moved on with my day. Because that was like an extra bowl of food or something.
It wasn't going to affect much.
So
really.
Apparently the lady had been trying to reach me, but I was busy. And then by the time I settled down in the evening, I saw her messages and she's like, she's so sorry. Like, she can't imagine what could have happened, blah, 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 the whole, 9 yards. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like, no problem. So she was like, oh, like if she had even known, she would have sent me a
Another pack.
replacement. I said, well, it wasn't,
It wasn't that
urgent, so
deep.
that's why. And then the next day, I had to go do something, and then I got a call from the office. They're like, Emma, good morning. The caterer showed up this morning with literally the same number of food packs I ordered the day before.
And it was just one that was off.
It was just one. So she basically did my order
God
again.
She's saying God when. That is incredibly cool. And to your point, the way that a food business, for instance, is that's what we're talking about, because I feel like that's one of the hardest businesses to start a refund policy for, is to send proof that the food is off.
Yes.
And then you get your refund.
Yeah.
So that's a simple policy to just put in there, because you know that you can't wait for a very long time. But I also like to emphasize on something you've said with these two stories. What that has done is those people have implanted so much of a core memory for you that you're bringing it up in this podcast just because of the acts that they did.
And I haven't stopped ordering.
And you stayed with them.
Yeah.
And beyond even staying, even if you're not bought from them before, the fact that you've even mentioned them, they've made a mark. So again, back to your question, is it realistic? Yes. Is it easy? No. But the benefits far outweigh the challenges. Look, I understand that Nigerians can be, I'm looking for the nice way to put this, crooked. Yeah, that's the nicest thing I could come up with. So you might have people might say like, oh, you don't think that people go and carry cockroach and put on top of the food and stuff. Look, I get it, but that is not the rule. That is the exception.
To the rule. Yeah.
So and again, another thing to note about refund policies and around whether it is realistic. Yes, realistic, easy, no. But you can also understand that that document or that policy has to be a living, breathing document. It has to continually evolve. The thing about refund policies is that you can't particularly come up with all the scenarios for a refund to be issued.
Yeah.
In some cases, you might think you've done it all and you said it all, and one person will come and give you the one you didn't expect.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
The key is once you meet that customer, all I tell people, just put it in, because it can only happen once.
That's it. You can have all the scenarios. Maybe you had 10 scenarios for a refund, and then you have scenario number 11. Then there's a scenario.
Yeah.
You understand? So that way you just kind of keep evolving with your document, evolving with the refund policy. And also, it's not just, the refund policy is not something that is out. There's no company that doesn't have some kind of refund policy. Yes, you're a small business now. Yeah. But you're going to grow. If you're not faithful in little things, how faithful are you going to be in big things? If you cannot have a refund policy now that you have, 50 to 100 customers, is it when your business grows, which is everybody's prayer, you're now not going to have that refund policy to cater to your 1,000 customers as against your 100 customers? So if you can create one for your 100 customer business, it only equips you to create an even bigger policy or an even more exhaustive policy for your 1,000 customer business. So I think it's really possible. You just have to decide to do it. In most cases, I'll be very honest with you, I feel like most businesses do not want to have a refund policy. They don't want to have.
And then the question would then be, why? Like, what are they so scared of, I guess? I mean, I can think of a few.
I can as well. And that's what I was about to say, that sometimes we have the mistaken opinion that people who sell us stuff believe in what they're selling us. Yeah. And that's the first mistake, because sometimes people are just in business just for the purpose of being in business, just to have the activity. Some people not even the money. Some people just for the
just be able to say I'm a CEO.
That's a whole other conversation for another episode, maybe another season. So there's that level of like, I just want the activity.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've seen so many businesses online that have been, we're going to talk about this in another episode, have been called out for doing the wrong thing in terms of not refunding when they sold a bad product. But those businesses still exist. They've not died. Do you understand? So in some cases, people are just like, I've gone this long without one. Why do I need to get one?
Why do I need one?
Yeah.
I guess it's really just, I mean, I understand, like you said, about, Nigerians. I can understand that we have a huge trust deficit.
Incredibly
so
huge.
that makes sense, that people would be scared. And, you just feel like, yes, everyone is trying to defraud you and all that jazz. I get it. But I still feel, at the end of the day, you have to decide what's really important.
Yeah.
Like you said, I like how you said, so the fraudulent customers are the exception to the rule. Because you're just really losing a huge opportunity when you're saying, there's no refund policy.
And you can't put all customers in the same boat.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of business owners complain and say, oh, we're not all fraudulent, we're not all scams. Well, not all customers are bad either. You
Yeah.
understand? I mean, you can't dish it and you can't take it. You
Mhm.
can't, if you say that, oh, we're not all like, okay, well, not all of us are scams either. So you have to be able to give that grace. So real quick before we go, I'm going to ask you, so what do you think, or how do you think that a business can execute a refund policy regardless of all the challenges we've kind of talked about? How do they still, because I mean, somebody might listen to that and say, I don't have one, no, let me try. So what do you think the person can do? We know the challenges, at least that's the good thing. We know that there are challenges around this. How do you think they can effect that refund policy regardless of all the issues?
Okay. So I think the first thing for business owners to understand is your refund policy is whatever you say it is.
Mm,
So even those people saying no refund, no exchange, that's a policy.
mhm.
It's just that the way you're going about it is making you seem very dodgy.
Ah.
Right?
Point.
It's not a great policy. It's not an advisable policy, but that's your policy, right? Fair enough. So if we're taking from that, it simply means your policy doesn't have to be 100% refund cash, right? You can look at your unique circumstances, what you're selling.
Create an exchange
And
policy.
yes,
instead.
you might have an exchange policy. You might say, okay, you can, if you don't like it, you can exchange it for something else that's in stock. Some people even say in stock. Like, yeah. And then you can say you can exchange it for store credits. So I'm not going to give you cash,
But the next time you want to
can
come and
spend
buy.
this amount on something else
Makes
as long
sense.
as you spend it with us. So in that case, the money has hit your account, but it's not leaving your account. You know, technically.
What's that thing they say? Konima die, Konima bury. Yeah, that makes a lot of
So
sense.
yeah, I think business owners would have to get creative as to how they're putting out, these policies. So don't feel like you have to fit into a box or you have to just copy and paste someone else's policy. Like you said, with your, 50 customers, you can have a policy that would grow into, a more global standard policy as, your customers grow as
Yeah,
well.
against not having anything at all.
Yeah. So I don't know, do you have any thoughts on how they can implement policies?
Yeah, a couple of things. Keep your demands around your refunds reasonable. When I say demands, I mean sometimes you look through a company's return policy, you're like, you know what, I'll keep the item. I don't have the energy for this. Don't make it too. Be as strict as you can be, sure, but don't be unreasonable. I think that's what I would say. And then the second thing is actually what I would probably talk a bit more on, and that is your suppliers. I'm a supply chain person, so I have to bring that in because most of the time some of the time, let me not say most of the time, like in issues of sizing, sometimes the reason why a product has to be returned is because there's a quality issue.
Yeah.
Why is it a quality issue? Because you don't own all the raw materials used to do your business. Maybe one or two suppliers might have delivered products that are a bit substandard or defective and all of that. So your suppliers are your best friends and they could also be your greatest enemies. So when you're dealing with, especially when you're a business that has multiple suppliers or multiple parts, you need to make sure that you have the best of the best of the best suppliers. And if you notice a challenge, don't be too scared to change suppliers. I think that's another thing. People are like, I mean, that's why some of us are still in abusive relationships with our banks.
Yeah.
We just can't anymore. But the energy to do another one, So, but in business, that one is banks, your personal money. They are not going to steal it. They will just stress you.
Yeah.
In business, your suppliers are not the kind of people like, I'm managing this person. You can't manage a supplier. If supplier is giving you issues, cut that person off immediately. Cut them off as in immediately, and then or before you cut them off, have a conversation and say, hey, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Are you gonna fix up or am I gonna move?
Yeah.
But just understand that the entire quality of your product, if it is tip top, you're not going to have so many return, all of that. So if you can focus on, no matter how mass produced it is, let there be a baseline for quality so that baseline is always followed. Anything below the baseline, understand that you have to return. Also, in some cases, make room for having some freebies or some things to soften the blow.
Yeah.
To make it easier for the person. And again, there are so many ways you can do this thing. Store credit, like you said, exchanges, like you said, just give them an option. XXX is not going to cut it anymore. It's not.
Yeah, and even in terms of getting creative, like I keep referring to fashion brands because that's my area of expertise. But so in terms of like fashion brands, it's easy. And I say fashion brands because there are so many and they really could key into having a refund policy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're thinking, okay, someone's going to buy my clothes, wear it maybe to an event, and then try to return it. Valid. So how about you put, your clothing tags in a place that's really visible, like on the front of the outfit. So the person can try on the outfit, but it will be impossible for them to wear it out in public, right? And then you then go to your terms and say, if you want to return an item, it must have the tags intact.
Exactly.
So no tag, no refund.
I mean, that
sounds fair.
Yeah, very fair.
That sounds fair to me. So then you have, and something else, because yes, like you said, people can be crooked. You would have people who would still, send you stuff.
Try.
So in your terms as well, you should also have, if you return something that's
that
in an unacceptable condition,
yes,
you're going to have to pay to have it sent back to you.
Yes, in terms of the delivery and logistics costs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that way the person has to decide, do you just want to send back the outfit, or, do you want to be mischievous, or are you just going to respect yourself?
I mean, the refund policy is all about giving your customer a choice.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. And the choice is going to be, do I go ahead with this refund or return? Or do I just, keep the item? Or do I, how do I even, if I know I'm going to return it, how do I manage the item in a way that it is acceptable before I have to take it back? So yeah, I think this has been good. I think this.
And that would also, sure. That would also apply to, other brands. So for instance, if your product is something that, can be determined before maybe the seal is broken, for instance, you can do that and say, the seal has to be intact.
But that's, again, you mentioned it. It has to be a situation where the product can be tried on before the seal.
Which is
not a situation where the seal has to be broken.
Has to be broken for you.
That's the one that blows my mind. Like, okay, so how was I going to do it? And I think that business owners can be quite mischievous, and they do that.
I mean, you have to be reasonable.
Like I said, incredibly
because
reasonable.
At the end of the day, right, the truth is, if your terms are not reasonable, then you're still losing customers.
Then you're as good as the XXX people.
Yeah, people are not even going to try.
Might as well just XXX it. So yeah, this has been good. I hope we've learned something. I hope that business owners can now create refund policies. Yeah, this has been good.
Yes, and guys, please reach out with questions. If you even want templates, I think I have a few templates for small businesses. Yes, I love freebies.
Grab. All right, so don't forget, share this to any business owner that you know to help them improve their business. Like, subscribe, just, engage with us as much as possible. Would love to hear from you. And I think that's it.
Yeah, until next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.